Let's go. Are we actually on? You're here listening with Kayla
and Georgia,
bringing you real, raw, and relatable chats on the Evolve to Thrive podcast.
Stay tuned because shit's about to get juicy as we dive into all things health, fitness, life, and relationships.
Let's go. Woo. Cheers! Welcome to our solo episode today. Now, I am so excited, Georgia, because we, for the first time ever, have decided to do a solo episode with no plan. We are rolling off the bat today. Now, I actually did draft up an episode on a topic that I was like, yep, cool, Georgia, this is what we're going to do. We're going to roll with it. And we actually got into the studio and we started freely talking with Peter about a number of things relating to our current situation, current life update on sex and relationships in general and just where we're at with our life. And we were like, you know what?
We need to talk about this.
Let's just continue talking. Let's just continue this chat.
100%.
Whilst we're in the middle of it.
And another, like I just said to you before, I feel like we have such better conversations when it's not planned, organized.
Yeah.
It's just like, even when we're speaking about our dating and sex in general, like we were getting so excited and just like, we can't shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And then when we have to record for the pod, something changes. I feel. Not changes, but just like, I don't know, there's a bit more structure in what we do.
100%. And Georgia, I feel like you definitely flow when you just start freely talking and you don't think about having a plan in the back of your head. So welcome everybody to the solo chats, which the purpose behind this topic today, we are going to talk a little bit about sex.
There's no real purpose actually. It's just our discussion
it's actually just a conversational life update on where we're at with our sex life and our sex drive, because we're always at different stages. I feel like we're never on the same page with sex or dating or anything. Nah, at all. So let's start with, before we do, we better do our craving or our tip of the week.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Do you have one?
I do. I actually have two. I have a tip and a craving. So it's that time of the month for me. So I'm feeling like I need all the carbs. I need a warm hug of food. So I'm just craving pasta, which I had for dinner.
Yes, you did.
So I am craving pasta. And my tip for the week would be anyone that's with Optus, get the fuck off because they're so shit. I despise them.
I can't believe you're still with Optus.
You know what?
Who is with Optus?
I'm actually like, my heart rate is increasing now thinking about it, because I was put on hold with them today for about an hour and 40 minutes and the issue still wasn't resolved. Long story short, my Apple Watch, when I updated my phone, back in 2019, they're like, oh, we'll throw in this Apple Watch for you for this, whatever. And I'm like, yep, sure, no worries. I paid off my Apple Watch back in 2019 and they still charged me. And I only, I thought I cancelled it back in 2019, but they didn't. And they've been overcharging me since 2019 for my fucking watch.
Oh, no shit. So you got data on the watch. You don't need it.
Yeah, but I asked them to cancel it back in 2019 and they didn't. So they've still been charging me for it.
2 years. 5 years.
4 years.
Fuck.
Then I called them 2 or 3 months ago to cancel and they still didn't cancel it. And I was having a bit of an aggressive conversation with Sandeep over the phone, and I'm not happy with Optus at the moment. So as of tomorrow, I will be moving phone companies. So
who are you moving to?
Come to Vodafone.
I haven't made my mind up yet. Maybe Telstra.
yeah, Telstra.
But tip of the week, don't fucking go with Optus. They're a lot of shit.
Yeah. But hang on a minute. Are you getting reimbursed?
No. So this is what the argument is, because they're basically like, because you didn't call up and cancel, which I did, that it should be my responsibility to cancel. And I'm like, Sandeep, I've called you 3 or 4 times. Nah, no record here. No record here. I'm like, okay, so where are we going from here? I'm getting angry.
You could pin them if you can get the day that you called.
Oh, it was 2019.
Fuck.
And actually,
you could just ask them. I would have only called whenever in 2019 to cancel it. Do you have any phone calls from my phone number?
They don't.
That's fucking dirty.
They don't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just like, where do we go from here, Sandeep? Because you're saying I haven't called you, you got no record of it, and I know I did, because why would I want to be paying more on my Apple Watch. And yeah, so an hour and 40 minutes on the phone to them.
And you can't get that time back, love?
The issue wasn't resolved, so they're calling me back tomorrow and I'll have a few words to say to Sandy.
What about you, Kayla?
Do you know, I did have a tip of the week, which I will share, but on the note of that, something that I fucking also time wasting was being on the phone to fucking ING, but they were actually fucking lovely because I was noticing all these Uber payments coming out of my account. Mate, this bitch ain't catching Ubers at the moment.
Oh,
yeah.
Who has your details?
I'm not going out anywhere. Well, I'm like Uber, Sydney, all these like $30, $35 payments are coming out of my account.
Anytime Uber does like bring money out, it is from Sydney. That's Uber and Uber Eats.
Yeah.
So have you been getting Uber Eats?
No.
Oh yeah, well you're on prep. So
I'm
that doesn't
definitely,
make sense.
that's what I mean. I'm 3 weeks out. I'm not getting Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was looking through it and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I literally changed my card a couple of months ago because I'd been hacked. Someone was
they still had the account.
So someone, no, because my card got cancelled and everything.
Yeah.
And I was getting like $80 payments every month coming out. And I was like, what's this $80 payment coming out every month? And it was for like a fitness thing. So I turned a blind eye, but then realised, hang on a minute, that I'm not paying this, as in this is not me. And then, again, I've just got to go through the whole process again.
It's a nightmare, isn't it?
Of like cancelling cards and then getting a new card and then being like, oh my God, is my mortgage going to come out? Am I going to get, a bad
overdraft.
credit rating because I miss a payment?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, what a nightmare.
It's actually a nightmare changing cards. I lost my wallet a couple of months ago. Actually, it was actually a week before my show. I lost my wallet, lost my ID, everything.
Oh, no.
And then I ordered a new ID because I don't have a clean driving record. I had to pay $80 for my license. Anyway, got that in the mail and I've lost it again. So I need to order a fucking new one.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. I can't find it. So
Brain cells. And you can't even say you're in peak week.
No.
We are going towards a phone one, so it's coming. So
I don't know how I feel about it.
it's fine.
Well, yeah, you're an IT.
It's
so-
just handy. Like, it's just handy. Like,
It
it's
is.
dumb that if someone steals your phone, they've got all of your shit on there.
Yeah.
But to be fair, your money's already on there. Probably more important than your driver's license.
Everything's on there.
Yeah.
Everything's on there.
We're hitting a point now where it's like you've kind of just got.
That's what I mean. I was having this conversation with the chick on the phone about like, how can I protect my privacy better? Because I've been hacked
it's not
twice.
happening. It's not happening.
And now I've just given up. So anyway, but I will say shout out to ING because the customer service was amazing. This girl sat on the phone with me for ages trying to work through my bloody account.
Bless.
But bless her. My other tip of the week is Food for Fitness, I think the meal prep company is called. So basically they will customize. They've got a full custom builder. You can design your whole meal plan.
This is new, isn't it?
This is like a new company which is now merging with a previous meal prep company that I was affiliated with like a Girl Fitness. So I do have a number of meal prep companies that I recommend to my clients because meal prep companies are really convenient if you're really busy and if you're really time poor.
Yeah.
So if you are one of those people, just ordering your meals and not having to sit there on a Sunday and meal prep.
My stomach. Sorry about that.
I couldn't
Food
hear
on
it,
the
so it's
way.
fine.
That was so loud.
Because I'm talking about food. But yeah, so this company, particularly Explosive Custom Macros, was a company that I was affiliated with. Unfortunately, they have decided to, close their doors, but they are now partnering up with Fitness for Food, the number 4 food. Anyway, we'll put it in the show notes. But yeah, you can customize your meal plan. So you can put in exactly how many grams of chicken, veggies, rice. You can choose whether you want rice, potatoes, whatever. They do also have standard meal plans where you've got an abundance of, just meals that you can just choose, or you can customize your own. And I was
you
like,
can tell them that this is what I want to eat.
and you can be like, I need this many grams of chicken. I need this many grams of potatoes.
that's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you looking at it now?
So
Yeah.
like whatever
We'll pop it
your
in the show
coach,
notes.
Yeah.
whatever your coach like kind of gives you in your meal plan, you could literally like design that in this meal prep company, and have it all done for you.
Yeah. Or even just like
I'm actually sending this to my coach right now.
if you're, even if you're time poor,
Yeah.
and there's certain foods that you want to implement in your, your plan.
but you can't be fucked cooking it yourself.
That's fucking great.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
that is my recommendation.
And what did you say before about how much it works out to be like per meal?
It works out to be like, I think it's $12 a meal. And guys, I do actually have a cheeky discount for you, which is explosive 30, and you'll get $30 off your first order. And I didn't mean
Check
for
it
that
out.
plug, but
that's
since
good.
it was a nice tip,
Yeah.
I genuinely feel like those of you out there will benefit greatly.
I think like any meal prep company is good.
100%.
Like, they're so good.
Yeah.
So convenient.
Yeah.
So convenient.
Yeah. That is our tip of the week.
That was 2 each.
Yeah.
We've never done that
Look
before.
at that. But
See what happens when
let's-
you relax?
I know.
Well, Georgia's super relaxed now. I love
I
it.
am.
Yeah.
I'm a type of person that just, well, this is what we're going to speak about in our planned episode. It's just about like routine and habit and stuff. I'm a very structured person and need routine and organized. But when it comes to the pod, I'm like, I think I flow better
Free flow.
when there's just,
Yeah, because conversation is different to like the life part of it. Yeah.
You
I get
just, you feel like it's more real, it's more genuine.
100%. Well, that's our plan, to be
Yeah.
real and raw.
Real, raw, and genuine.
Yep. But let's get into the sex topic, the juicy shit that everyone wants
juicy
to know. So a thought came to my mind, and obviously, like as we do, we always debrief when we come in here. And it's so funny because we'll start having a conversation for like 30 minutes and we're like, so should we record now?
Yeah, literally. Literally.
So we thought, yeah, let's just freaking continue this chat. So what we were talking about off air was how when we have sex, and if you're having sex with someone for the first time versus having sex with someone repeatedly, and kind of where we're at with our sex life right now. So you, Georgia, are kind of in your not really dating life at the moment.
Yeah, I'm very, very single.
Yeah.
And I'm just still healing.
Yes.
And just, I feel like I've got a lot going on in my life at the moment. So I'm just not too focused on trying to like date and
like
meet people.
You're just not putting yourself out there.
I'm definitely not putting
Yeah.
myself out there. Like for me at the moment, it's consuming too much of my mental space. I feel like I'm not in a position to give myself yet.
Yeah.
And I think when you're like still healing as well, it's just giving yourself to someone while you're in that phase. It's just,
Yeah, it's just bad news.
it's bad news. I know I'm setting myself up for disappointment.
And-
like me and my sister were having this conversation. How she heals from like certain situations is very different to how I heal. Like she needs to be, not that she goes around and whores around, but she needs that attention. She needs to be sleeping
needs
with a
the
few.
She needs that validation.
Yeah, she needs the closeness. Whereas I'm like, I just
Want to be left alone.
don't touch me.
Yeah.
Don't even say, hey babe, what's going on? Nah, get away from me.
That's me,
Get
actually.
away from me.
That is me right now.
So
yeah.
I couldn't be more single. But
Super
I'm actually like I'm happy though because I'm focusing more on me.
Do you genuinely feel like you're in a place right now where you're completely happy, just riding your own wave, doing your own thing, and you're okay with not putting yourself out there?
Yeah, for now.
Yeah.
Now I am. Like I'm more focused on the shit that I've got going on, which I know when you're in relationships and you're in situationships, I should say. You put more of your attention into that and you lose yourself.
You
a
lose
little bit.
yourself.
Yeah. And I'm noticing as well, like there was a lot of myself that I lost when I was focusing too much on this person and this situation.
Yeah.
So it's good to be able to come back to myself, be in my own body and just, focus more on me, really.
I think that's really important because we actually are in the same phase. We said earlier that we're never on the same wavelength when it comes to our dating life.
Yeah.
Like it's either, you're dating somebody and I'm just fucking around, or, I'm seeing someone and you're fucking around, or like you're just completely not dating. And I actually think we're definitely on the same page at the moment.
100%. Well,
And-
because you're definitely not seeing anyone.
I am the most single and I am literally getting nothing at the moment. Like
not even a little
I
cheeky little something
I
on the
am
side?
getting no touchy feely anything at the moment.
Are you happy with that?
And I couldn't be happier.
Really? That's good.
Yeah, this is the first time in my life I was actually having this conversation with my friend Matt, and I said, I think for the first time in my life, I am completely okay with not having someone on the go. Like I actually don't have anybody on the go at the moment.
Do you used to feel like you needed someone on the go, or you needed just a little bit of attention on the side?
I always had someone on the go. Always. Like
it's normal when you're younger to do that.
whether it was one person or a couple, I always had somebody on the go. Like I was always sexually active.
Yeah.
Whether I was in a relationship or whether I was just single but had somebody that I could be like, come over.
Yeah.
And I feel like these conversations aren't spoken about enough, because when you're in your 20s, your 30s, like we talk about, you know, you need to be alone before you find somebody and this and that. But
no, which is to a degree I think is true, but it's also I think important to have a little hoe phase and like date people, because you find out so much about yourself and just like how shit people actually are. And you also, when you date a number of different people, you can see
patterns and trends as well.
Yeah, but you can also, when you do more work on yourself too and become more self-aware, you can see how much of a front people put on when you're dating.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and you can pick it up straight away.
Yes.
Yeah. Even just like for example, like a single date. Like if you're dating, you can see that they're acting a certain way or they're saying something that's not true just to try and impress you.
Yeah.
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 You're like, what happened to that? Where'd that go?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Dating is a wonderful thing, but also a fucking shit and a curse too, right?
You got to be in the right mental space, I think, to do it.
Yeah. And I think this is like, if we bring it back to where we're both at in our lives, and we also had Rani on a couple of episodes ago about mindset, and she mentioned a really important point on the episode as well, and it was about like really doing, like, everybody wants to get into relationships and nobody actually knows who the fuck they are. And you know, you're dating somebody and you still don't know who you are, and until you put yourself into that space where you are alone and you do that inner work on yourself, and you're okay with kind of not dating, and like you go through a period where you're not actually dating. Because I actually, again, I reckon it's only been this year where I, for the first time, have actually genuinely not had somebody on the go. And I've actually completely enjoyed this process or this phase or this cycle of my life. And prep obviously has a massive part to play in that, right? Like,
but not everything, right? Like Georgia was still going nuts while she was prepping.
Yeah.
I think you need to give yourself more credit. And it's cliche to say, but you're maturing.
Yeah.
And you're understanding that, like,
it's not
when you
worth
try and
it.
force dating, you're getting all this trauma. And it's like, I'm trying to make a square peg round hole. This doesn't work.
Yeah.
Just slow down, take it ezy. And you're finding that your own space is fine.
I'm loving it. I'm genuinely loving it.
Like with that thing that Rani said, sometimes you date people and you don't know who you are or what you want, but you subconsciously bring in or attract people that reflect the type of shit that you've got going on that you don't even realize. So it's like, if you are dating around and you're easily triggered, or like there's things that you're finding that aren't working with people, it's almost like look at yourself and grab those things and work on them, and then be by yourself, and then you can attract the right person in. And that's me just trying to take my own advice right now.
Yeah.
Because I need that more than ever.
It's essentially saying, well, you know, because a lot of people will ask, and this was me, I was really big on this too. Like I used to say this all the time. It's like, why do I only attract fuckboys?
Yeah.
Why am I only attracting fuckboys into my life? And then
there's a common denominator.
And then I was like, hang on a minute.
Whoa.
And it's not me. that used to be my attitude. And I was like, fuck it. Like, it's me. Yeah. I'm actually not ready for commitment. Like, there was a really long period of time where I thought I was ready for commitment. I fucking wasn't at all. And that's why I just kept attracting fuckboys.
Because we live in spaces where you need to be like transitioning into relationships and stuff, especially for girls too. You guys get a lot of extra pressure of like needing to be in relationships. You can't like necessarily be as single as easy as guys can. Yeah. Like I could be single for as long as I want. And there would be no problem. No one would say shit unless I was in my 50s.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For you guys, you're like, no. Like, if I want to have the best sex of my life and I want to have connection and stuff, I kind of need to be moving towards that, and you get all these negative emotions and stuff.
Yeah.
It's
and you're also
a
like,
minefield.
Also, when you get, because my brother's told me, and a few guys have told me this too, it's like when women get to like 35, if they haven't had kids or come out of a long-term relationship,
Someone's like, what's wrong?
You're washed up.
Yeah.
You're washed up.
I even, on my pod.
That scares the fuck out of me. Like, I'm 30 next year. Like, ugh.
We had bachelor girls that were just tipped over 30, and they're like, they noticed a massive drop off on dating apps of like guys that they would match with, and it's like, well, I mean,
What do you mean by a massive drop off?
the types of guys they were only matching with like really old dudes.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was just this big thing, and they're like, oh, and I was like,
Did they look like they were in their 30s as well?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
physically?
yeah. I mean, they looked their age-ish.
Yeah.
Like they didn't look super
They look
old.
21.
They didn't look, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you guys probably notice it more because you're like, there's this massive bevy, and then all of a sudden there's like a section cut off. And you're like, what happened? And then you'd be like, I got older. It's like,
if you think about that, it's kind of true. Like the kind of guys that I want to be dating are already taken. It's almost thinking of it like, fuck, what's left on the shelf?
But
Yeah.
you've also got to be open as well to like attracting those types of men.
Exactly.
Because they're out there.
They are.
But
Yeah.
there's probably a part of you that's not ready yet for that type of person.
Exactly. And I'm really big on this because even we spoke about doing more work on ourselves. And I think this is why we're at the moment going through a phase where we're actually okay not dating. Like when we're open to not putting ourselves out. Like we're comfortable not putting ourselves out there. And purely the reason for that is like we both mentioned, we've got shit going on in our life that's more of a priority than dating right now. So like you've got a lot going on with work. I've got a lot going on with focusing on my prep and focusing on my business. And it's a massive transition phase for me with my career as well.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I just don't have that energy right now to put myself out there and have a guy over. I just don't.
Yeah.
Even like I'm very clear that I'm not ready right now for an emotional commitment with someone. And then I went through a phase where I was like, okay, maybe I'll just have like a little, boy on the side that's a little bit of fun. And even that, I'm like, I'm just not even in the right headspace for that at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, because naturally as well, like women are a lot more emotional. So I think even if you say, oh, nah, like I can just sleep with this person and it just be that, as much as women say that, it's not. It's always
Eventually they fall.
There's always a little bit of your soul that's taken by them.
Yeah. And if it's not
like
initially,
men can just sleep, be done with it. Women, I really don't believe women can do that. Like maybe one or two times, but like.
No, I think you're right. I think it's safe to say that like physiologically there's chemicals released that want you to be closer to the person that you sleep with, because technically like that person, in theory, if you want to get boring about it, is like sex to have babies and stuff.
Yeah.
So you'd want that guy to protect you, so you would feel drawn to him because that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just connection.
Yeah.
And I think there's different chemicals that are released for men and women.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So-
Because that you're exactly right. We're supposed to kind of go out and then like do all this other shit as well. So it's like if we end up kind of wanting to be around you guys all the time, there's a problem. Who's going to kill whatever or do, all the primal stuff.
Yeah.
It's like we need to get shit done. So you need to be able to disconnect and do things. Right?
Yeah.
I genuinely feel like sometimes I feel like I'm a girl in a guy's body, or is it the other way around? Fuck, I don't know. But honestly,
shim.
there was
guy's mind.
I have a guy's mind.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely convinced that I think more like a guy sometimes.
Yeah.
And I don't fit that stereotype, because there's been a number of times where I genuinely have had guys where I'm like, I absolutely have no fucking like emotional, like I actually don't want to date you.
Yeah.
I've been in situations like that too. Like I've honestly just slept with them and that be it. But I don't know. I feel like the older I get and the more
mature,
or the more like in tune I get with myself, I feel like I cannot do that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I don't know how to explain it. Like I feel like I'm more in tune with myself. So it's just like if I sleep with someone just for the sake of it, I'm giving a part of myself away.
Yeah.
That I don't want to.
I definitely know where you're coming from there, because I completely agree. And I think that's also why I'm not sleeping around at the moment.
Yeah.
Is purely because of that reason, where I'm like,
but you've also lost your sex drive.
I actually definitely have lost my sex drive. I can't even explain this. This is fucked, guys. I used to have I'm actually someone that usually has a really, really high sex drive.
Yeah, most people that train as much as
and I used to have this conversation, but then I was like, is it because I'm just not actually having sex? That's why my sex drive is so low. Because when I am having sex, my sex drive is so high. But then I'm like,
when you're regularly getting it.
Like if you're getting it, you want it more. Whereas if you're not getting it, you don't want it at all.
And are you saying this because like you want it more if you're having it with different people and you're having good sex with different people, or is it with one person?
No, I am not someone that likes sleeping around at all.
Or if it just say it's like 2 people, it doesn't have to be sleeping around, but like regular
one or two
sex
people.
from like 1 or 2 people.
Yeah, because you're getting it, you crave
Want
it
it.
more.
Yeah.
Because it's on your mind.
Yeah.
And especially if it's good, you obviously want more of it, right?
Yeah.
And you can relate to this.
Yeah.
But then it's almost like, okay, well, I'm not getting any. I don't know what I'm missing because it's not on my mind.
What you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm in the moment. At the moment questioning, is comp prep causing me to have a low sex drive, or is it because I'm just not getting any? That's why I don't have a sex drive, because I literally have no desire at the moment.
I think it's a bit of both because like if you were getting it, like we literally just said this, like if you were getting it, you'd still want it.
Yeah.
But because you're not getting it, you're not craving it as much.
Yeah, because physiology,
because of your body's out of whack at the moment.
But that's what I mean. I'm like, I'm also not in a ridiculous calorie deficit to be at a point where my body and hormones are fucked up.
Yeah.
Like I still feel like mentally and physically my body is still with it, even though I am in a deficit compared to the normal person. Like I'm in a very conservative deficit at the moment for like the average person. So like I don't feel like it's got an impact where, you know, my libido's gone down because of me being in a calorie deficit. I don't think that's the case. I actually think it's more to the fact that I'm just not dating and I'm just not actually sexually active at the moment.
Yeah. I think it's just, it might be dependent on the person because like when I was in a severe calorie deficit and like I had physically, mentally, spiritually lost the plot, I was still having sex and I wanted it every single day.
Yep. And this was because it was so good and this connection, and this was the dickmatized.
Because I was dickmatized and like it was great sex and I was getting it 4 or 5 times a week. So I was just always wanted it.
You always wanted it.
Which I'm surprised because I'm like, with the state that I was in, I'm surprised I actually wanted it so much.
The one thing that you actually could handle during that
was
time
was getting dicked down.
But I think part of it is that we do have sex for many different reasons, right? And we were talking about before, that helped you feel close as well.
Yeah.
So especially in a time where you're feeling vulnerable, those things can help. So it's like you might have had the chemicals drop and stuff, but that's the only way you could get that emotion from that connection. Yeah. So your body's still like, no, I need this. I want to do this. And this is how I get this. So like we can still fuck for different reasons. Right.
Yeah.
And that's why like this, it wouldn't have been like the single phase stuff and all that. That's probably there. But I think you're just comfortable as well.
I'm way too
it's
comfortable.
Really brave. And you're kind of hitting a space now where, not that you're getting older and wiser, but you are hitting a space where you're like, oh, fuck, man, I've had some traumas recently, which was absolutely insane. I'm good for a little bit, and I think I'm kind of okay until I'm ready. I'm not in a rush.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be pushed into anything.
This is true.
Which will make you better as well when you, like, when you actually do go into a relationship, you're not, like, you don't come across as desperate. You don't come across as like you're chasing the person. Like you'll come across as very secure. And that anyone that takes time away from dating, I think, go into a relationship.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's real off-putting when the person's like super needy and like super desperate and like super attached.
It is.
Real quick.
Absolutely.
Mate, fucking chill out.
Yeah.
On the topic of all this, so it's like, it's really crazy how even I think I've been single for like 3 years, right? And from going to, like, I used to do one night stands and stuff, and I could not think of anything worse now.
Yeah, we said this before, right? It's like the worst sex ever.
It is horrible.
Yeah.
It's absolutely horrible.
You go away from it and you're like, why have I just done that?
Yeah.
Why have I done that to myself? You feel
yuck.
Worse.
You feel
dirty.
Yuck. Yeah.
Dirty specimen.
And you're like, that wasn't even worth it. Like, I literally just could have satisfied myself solo.
Most of the time, it's like the worst sex.
Yeah, it's awkward. Like everyone's fucking embarrassed, and you're like, oh man, this is just
just to feel a type of way for 20 minutes.
And I think the with the energy level that I have at the moment, the effort to bring a guy over and entertain them, and then like sleep with them, to then like be tired the next day.
I don't want to be losing sleep over
I'm
this.
actually serious.
It needs to be special.
It's just not on my priority list at the moment. It actually isn't.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, dating is harder when you're in prep, right? Because you can't go out and you can't go out for a good time and have a drink. You're not going to dine out with them.
No.
If they don't understand that you're tracking your macros, like, it's just a fucking headache.
Yeah.
It is just way more of a headache than it needs to be.
And it's not conducive of dating. Like, going
No.
to something and then, like, because, you know, you're sharing a meal. Sometimes you're having a glass of wine. You know, the guy might pick something for you and that's cute. And, like, there's all this extra shit that you just can't do. And it's like, cool, we're going to this place that I know everything's kind of there. And it even takes the spontaneity out of it. And, like, you can't get a coffee or an ice cream afterwards. And it's just, like you said, you're not
coffee.
It doesn't
entice me at all.
It doesn't facilitate dating healthily.
No.
And
you know, have you ever dated someone, or like, have you ever been on a date with someone where, like, for example, you're having food and they're like picky eaters. They don't like this or they don't want this. They can't have this. They do this. They're allergic to this. You're like, what the? You're shit. You're boring. It's like being in prep is almost like that, but worse.
It's the same. Yeah.
That is exactly what it is. And I know that I'm actually like a fucking good time. Like when I'm not I'm actually fun. So like when I'm not in a comp prep, I go out. I drink, I socialize, I eat out. I don't I'm very flexible and balanced. Like I do live quite a balanced life, right? So when I go out, it's even a little bit off topic, but Matt asked me to go out with him and like some people on the weekend. And I was like, you know what? Like I actually would prefer not to come because if I'm meeting these people for the first time, I'm not giving them a true reflection of who I am.
And then the conversations of why you're not drinking, why you're not. In Sober October, I'm doing the same thing. I'm like, I had to repeat myself 50 times. Like, fucking, I'm not coming out to shit.
It's
again.
not I'm not coming.
Yeah.
I'm just not coming. It's like the Grinch. I'm not going.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm not going.
And then because you're not on their level as well, it's just like, you start to see them drunk and then you're like, I'm just not in the mood for this.
I'm not in the mood for this.
I'm not in the mood.
Yeah, and I think that's where, in all seriousness, I've become a lot more just wanting to be alone and left alone.
Yeah.
It gets to the weekend at the moment and I'm almost like, okay, it's literally easier for me to be alone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been loving it though.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm
loving
not
it sick.
I'm just loving it sick.
No, me too. Like I'm literally loving it. Loving it. Like it's my birthday this weekend and I'm like,
what are you doing?
I can't even be bothered doing anything. Like it's Thursday and I'm like,
yeah, I didn't even know. It was, what a fucking good friend I am. I didn't even know it was her birthday.
But I don't know. I think coming out of prep too, that's just taking it out of me. But there's nothing, I think maybe we're getting older. Maybe that's it.
Don't remind us.
Maybe that's another thing too. We're getting older. We're becoming less tolerant.
How about we celebrate your birthday after I'm out of prep? We'll just do a delayed birthday.
Let's do that.
And we're getting fucking shit-faced.
Let's go back to what you were just saying about
choosing
like,
to be
just like eating with people and stuff. Go into that story go into that story about where
old mate.
Old mate with the Nando's.
Let's tell everybody why I got the ick with dating and why
what your trauma was.
What my trauma was and why I actually decided fuck dating.
It's for a valid reason.
I am just not dating while I'm in prep. Like absolute no, not happening.
Yeah.
Okay. We will not disclose names, but what we will say is this. So I decided, I can't even remember where I was, as in like how many weeks out I was, maybe 15, 10 to 15.
Fair bit.
10 to 15 weeks out. And I had come to this point where I was like, fuck, I've been alone. Like I haven't put myself out there in so long. I was like, you know what? You don't need to be looking for a man you're marrying. But just put yourself out there. Like just go out for a date, do something fun, do an activity, like just have a good time. Let someone not wine and dine you because I was in prep, but like just do something fun, like go out for the night. Because at that point I was always stressed with work and doing stuff. I was like, I need to just let my hair down and just do something fun. So I went on this date and it was just a date where it involved like, you know, mini golf and just an activity, right?
Yeah.
Because I do a lot of like walking coffee dates as a first date. And I was like, no, I'll catch up with him on like a Friday night and do that. We had caught up before. So it was a second date. And this person and I, like, we're in the same industry and it was always difficult for us to catch up. He lived on the fucking other side of the world. Anyway, there were a number of things that he would say that I was just like, I just have
Just not sure.
I'm just not sure about you. Like, I don't know. Like, he had a really old mentality anyway. But the whole
just
point,
with life.
yeah.
Traditional.
Real, like, I want to try not to go off on a tangent. So I'm basically just going to say, like, we just didn't align. Like, we just did not have the same opinion on things.
Yeah.
So from the moment that I'm feeling triggered already. From the moment he walked in the door, he called Miley a horse.
A horse?
So he walks in and he's like, oh, what kind of like horse is that? Like to my dog. And I'm like, mate, if you're picking on my dog already, we're already not going to get along because this dog's me life. But yeah, like
who doesn't like dogs though? That's weird.
Yeah,
and golden retrievers.
And he firstly rocks up in his like active wear. It was a fucking like 10-degree day, and he's rocked up in like shorts.
Yeah, no.
And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Anyway, he comes in and he was like real casual, and then he proceeds to say, oh, I might go get changed. Like, I've got some jeans in the car. Yeah, cool, no worries. And then he's like, oh, jeans or trackies. I'm like, oh, maybe put some jeans on, and he puts trackies on. I'm like, okay, cool, no worries, that's fine. But then we go out for dinner, and this is where it all went upside down. So I had already planned, all right, I'll go and get Nando's, because he was already like, what do you want for dinner? I'm really flexible. You can work around it. And I said, okay, cool. How about grilled or Nando's? I can easily
because you can track it.
I can track it. I can factor it. And he's like, absolutely, no worries. That's fine. And then so it got to us going to Nando's, and the line was fucking ridiculous. And I go, this ain't going to work. That's okay. I'll go to grilled. So we go to grilled, and then again, the line was ages, and I was looking in my head, and I kept just like going, oh, I might get this or I might get that. And he's like, I got told to relax 3 times by this guy. First thing, Georgia, if a guy tells you to relax, what are you thinking?
I'm not thinking, I'm leaving. I'm out of there.
If any guy is listening right now, never tell a girl to relax.
Especially over food.
Don't fucking tell her to relax.
Yeah, no.
That got me in.
I see red.
That got me antsy.
Yeah,
like
100%.
antsy already. And I was like, what do you mean?
First of all,
relax?
you're already stressed out. Like you can't get Nando's now, so you're already a little bit stressed because you got to change the plan.
Yeah.
Then you can't get grilled.
I'd already pre-tracked it, man.
And now you're fucking telling me to relax.
Yeah. So I don't get the Nando's. I go to grilled. What do I order? I'm doing the maths in my head because I was like, oh, maybe I want like a few chippies, and then I was like, maybe we can share like a couple. Like if you order chips, I'll have a couple. And then I was like, maybe I'll just get a salad. And he was getting frustrated with me. Like, and this is the thing. I don't blame him, but
you knew what you get yourself into.
You fucking relax. You know I'm in prep. And I did tell him from the start. I was like, because I literally said prior to that, I was like, I was going to cook dinner. Like I was going to cook dinner because then I had all the control over everything.
Yeah.
And then he was like, nah, let's just get takeaway because it'll be easier. And in my head, well, it fucking was not easier.
Yeah, no.
And yeah, so he's told me to relax. I've ordered a salad and I'm eating the salad, and he's telling me, oh, that must be delicious, like being real sarcastic. And I'm just like, unwarranted.
Didn't he start to like tell you as well that what you're doing is like
yeah. So because he's in the fitness industry, he feels like he could tell me that I'm a little bit over the top with what I was doing, and I was a little bit obsessive with my tracking.
Clearly he's not in the fitness industry then, because most people that are competing are obsessive.
And he was
super involved.
That's right.
And you know that when you're a competitor, that's what's involved.
That's what's involved.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I was like, look, I need you to understand that this is not my life all the time, but I am X amount of weeks out from my show. I'm taking this seriously, and this is the protocol that I want to follow. Like,
and the fact that you're even justifying it,
like I'm choosing to do this.
On the first day,
he was kind of like, "Look, I think that you're overly stressing about it. I don't think this one meal is going to ruin your progress." And I'm like, yeah, but you just don't understand. And he just kept. We literally were just clashing. But like I'm telling you now, I was literally getting lectured in the middle of grilled at a restaurant whilst I'm eating my fucking salad, being like, I just wanted my Nando's. But anyway, I'm eating this salad, and I went on a date and got lectured about like
it's weird
why I'm doing my show.
Awkward people get over food. Like, how does that affect your time in the house? You still went to the place. You still got the thing, right? And it's the first date or whatever. It's like there should be so much more about the time that you're spending together than what you're eating.
And why do you have such an opinion on how I choose to live my life?
But the worst part of all
massive.
this was
Like, why don't you ask me how I am, or what do I do for work, or how's my week been?
But then he tried to backhand compliment me
By saying what?
by being like, look, I think you're so disciplined and I know you're going to do really well at your show, and I'm saying this in a place of like care. Like, I genuinely think that you don't need to be this rigid with your plan. Like, you know,
Said every person that's never competed ever.
exactly.
Literally.
And then he actually, like, so I was talking about like the podcast and stuff like that, and he literally said to me, because I'm obviously an online, literally she's like, oh, I wouldn't know, I don't listen to podcasts.
Nailed it. Don't even know the cunt.
Tosser.
And then he's a face-to-face PT and I'm an online coach, and like, I literally feel like he's a 50-year-old man, and he was just like, I just don't get the online coaching space. Like, I felt like I got lectured and insulted
And ridiculed
on this date, and I left.
So do you know what all of those things were? It's actually really easy to pick what they were. All of the stuff that you do intimidates him, and
100%.
what a lot of people do, your present company included, is you try and minimize stuff. So I've had to work on that as I've gotten older because it's horrible. But a lot of people he's trying to defend his own internal monologue about all these things that, like, he probably wishes he could shred and get fucking yoked and be on stage and be fucking jacked and have done like a fucking cut the entire way through, but he can't because he doesn't have the fortitude or the dexterity to do it.
Well, he pretty much said that. He goes, look, I don't have the discipline to do what you're doing.
He probably
And
thinks he's awesome.
He's
as
like,
well.
I respect you for doing what you're doing, but I could never do it. He literally said that.
Yeah. That's what I mean. And hates that people get paid to talk in front of a camera, and like, just everyone would love to do that. And that's why a lot of people get real shitty about like podcasting and that sort of. They just want to do it and they can't do it.
It's all the same type of people. They're very predictable.
Yeah.
Very predictable. Yeah.
He's a bitter, angry dude that needs to work on a lot of shit.
Yes.
Or he needs to date very small people.
Yeah.
That will just be like,
that makes him feel better.
Yeah.
But I feel like aren't men like that though? Like, not all men, majority of men, where they don't want the women to be more successful or like.
Yeah. So as I've gotten older, seeing the certain different groups of friends. So my high achieving friends always date women that do really well.
Yeah.
And as you go, I guess, you slide backwards down that scale of like less successful guys, that becomes more important. So the needing to do better is more important the worse the guy's doing. So if you're doing well, you're okay with other people doing well around you because it's life.
So to me, that sounds like an insecurity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're just trying to make yourself feel better because you know you're not doing as well as what you could be doing.
Exactly. And providing for a wife and kids gives you purpose at a mediocre job that pays like 80 grand. You know, that's probably only going to pay 80 grand for the next 10 years, and it's fine as long as you can pay the mortgage and go on a holiday once a year. You're all sweet.
You've triggered me. Do you know why?
Yeah.
Because I've noticed a very significant pattern in my dating life over the last few years. And this is exactly why I'm on my road to solitude.
The fortress of solitude.
We finally got the word right.
So what's the pattern?
Yeah.
So I start seeing a guy. Let's call it situationships.
Mm-hmm.
I have had several.
I know that very well.
Yeah, about me.
No, situationships.
Yeah, you do. The pattern of digmatized situationships. Yeah. So basically, you're sleeping around with one particular person, and you're like, you know what? I'm okay with this one person because the dick is good and it works. Like, I don't need to be committed to you because, you know, I'm happy catching up with you regularly. But then eventually they start treating you like your girlfriend, their girlfriend, where you're all of it. Okay, so you're not dating me. We're not a label, but you're basically living at my house. You're talking to me every fucking day. You're
talking about future plans.
And
you're telling me things that only you would tell one person.
Yeah. But I'm just not ready for commitment.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, the situationship ends, and a couple months later they're in a long-term relationship. And this has happened on several, not one, but several occasions. And I was like, what? What is it about me that like that
The guy, the guy that you're with just isn't ready, doesn't want you.
That's correct.
And it's nothing personal about you either.
That's what I mean though. This is where I'm like, now I get it.
Yeah.
At the time I used to be like,
You thought it was
Something's
personal.
wrong with me. Yeah.
yeah, at the time I used to be like, why the fuck does this keep happening to me? Like, why don't people want to commit to me, but they want to commit to someone else, and they tell me they don't want to commit to me? But anyway,
I had the same conversation with a psychologist.
yeah,
I couldn't understand why certain things were happening around me with certain people.
yeah,
And then I was so committed and so in on relationships, and things just weren't working out. Mate, honestly, it's just the dynamic of that other person.
yeah.
That's the way they're going to go, and that's what's going to happen.
And sometimes they have their own shit that they're trying to deal with, or sometimes it's just like, they have their own shit that they're dealing with. It's nothing to do with you or the type of
100%.
person or your character. It's more so like they're not in a position to give you what you're actually after.
And now I completely.
It's hard to accept that too. That's something I'm struggling to accept.
Is it? Yeah.
That's something I'm.
it's
really,
annoying as well. Like,
because you can't not take it personal, and you like.
It's like ghosting.
Yeah, it's like, what is, like, I'm a good person. Like, I'll bend over backwards for you. Like, I'll give you whatever you need, and yet you're still not choosing me. Like, what is it about me? But it's got nothing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to accept.
Something else that has just, come to my attention is the other guy that we were talking about before, that I was seeing a couple months ago. And it's so bizarre because, this is why I'm like choosing not to date, is because I feel like I've literally had trauma with dating.
Yeah.
Like I've literally just had the ick with it. I can't be fucked with it anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's just too much mental energy that I'm just like, I put myself out there and I'm like, you know what? Why do I even bother?
Yeah.
So
Why
it's just true. So yeah, like this particular instance, I went on a couple of dates with this guy. Anyway, I know that for a fact that he had come out of a relationship several months prior. She's laughing, she knows it too well. And I was like in my gut feeling. Anyway, so I slept with this guy and then he got really, really weird afterwards.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, whatever, that's you. It's fine. Anyway, I pretty much got ghosted by him. And then I basically did mention, before we had slept together, I did bring up like, oh, like, are you still talking to your ex? And, are you still in contact? Do you think you'll get back together? And he went like quiet and he's like, nah. But then he did go a bit quiet. And I'm like, I reckon, like in my head, he's telling me he's over his ex, but I'm like, I don't reckon he is. Like, I just got this gut instinct.
Because you don't want to tell someone you're dating, like, no, I'm probably still not over him.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah,
I know this shit because I've got a really good fucking gut instinct. And I was like, he's not over his ex. Sure enough, we had slept together a couple of times, and the second time we slept together, he fucking went weird.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of it. And I was like, what the fuck? And then and he left. Anyway, and I didn't hear from him, but he then messaged me saying like, I'm really sorry about what happened. I promise I want to catch up with you. Like, it's nothing personal. I've got my own shit that I'm dealing with. And in my head, I'm like, he's fucking gone back to the ex, whatever. Left him on red, but didn't bother, right? Anyway, today I see him upload like a photo with his ex-girlfriend.
That's crazy.
And I was like, I fucking knew it.
Yeah.
I fucking knew it.
Yeah.
So then I was like, again, it wasn't personal. It was clearly you weren't over your ex. And because what guys do is as soon as they leave a relationship, they don't deal with their emotions.
No.
They just go and fuck around and they just go and date and they sleep around to try and get over their ex.
Well, it helps with the situation. It really does. Because you feel, especially if they break up with you, which happens in the majority of male to female relationships, the women will call it a day.
Yeah.
It's just how you get through it. And you're like, no, I'm not useless. No, I'm not needed. Like, this chick loves my cock. This is awesome. Like, I'm still a dude. Like, because you feel
it's that
really
validation
small
for them.
and you feel, you don't feel like a dude. Because you just had someone that you thought you'd provide for be like, no, I don't think you can do that for me, actually. And it's like, that's for us. That's heartbreaking. And it's easier just to shut off and then feel like a dude for a bit and then circle back around when you can.
Yeah.
Because it sucks dick, dude. Like, not comfortable at all.
What about when it's the other way around? When the guy breaks up with a girl?
Yeah, so I've seen those guys tend to have higher EQs, and they just kind of know that something's not right.
Yeah.
And even still, it depends on the love language and how you care for your partner. I've noticed I don't know that many guys that break up with girls that they're seriously committed to.
Yeah.
Like, fair enough if you're fucking around and it's 3 days, you're like, whatever. That doesn't count because you've got no connection.
I was going to say, a lot of the time that what I've observed in, say, friends and myself, it's the girl that leaves because guys just get comfortable.
Well, it's comfortable, and even if a situation is shit, we will bear down and get through it. Because there is a sense of like, weirdly, like I know guys that have done shady stuff that are still fiercely committed to their partner on the same foot. And it's like,
it just gives me like it's just it's an eye roll because I'm like, will you ever find a guy that is down for monogamy? Probably not.
Yeah, no, definitely yes. But
give the girl some hope.
I feel like I've lost hope.
As you're younger, it is harder for both parties because I've seen it happen on both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Especially with dating apps and stuff, I've seen girls cut guys off at the knees for no reason just to go and start dating again because like legitimate awesome connections, and I've had pretty good oversight on the majority of the relationship. Like, oh no, there's better options out there, and they've just moved on.
As in girls doing this or guys?
Yeah, it's both now. It's because the opportunity to, because the thing that I guess hamstrung women was guys had to approach you usually for dating, right?
Yeah.
Not now. Load up your phone.
But this
rack up 10 dates in a weekend. Let's go.
Thing is, like, I feel like a lot more women now are open just to rooting and booting. So it's like if girls,
and that's fine,
which is fine. Yeah, girls will go up to guys at the club now and be like, let's get it done. Let's go.
Yeah. And a big thing that I would stress to your listeners to understand is that when you do stuff like that, that's dope. That's fine. Fucking yay. But realize you're framing something in a social situation that the majority of guys will take a certain way. So if you're coming up to the dude, a lot of guys, and I know it's irritating and like it's fucking piggish or whatever, but this is reality. This is how guys react in a situation.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, what the fuck? Why did she come up and then just took control and did the whole thing? There's a negative ping with that.
Okay.
And you're like, okay, I don't know. Am I the first guy? Because every guy's like, I'm not fucking Casanova.
Because this is triggering something in me right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you're thinking of your friend?
No. I'm thinking of I'm just thinking of like me in situations because I'm like, I obviously have a lot of trust issues. I've been through through situations with shit men. And I'm like, the fact that so many girls now are open to just sleeping, like going up to just men and approaching them just to sleep with them.
Yep.
In my head, I'm like, fucking hell, you're never going to find any guy that's going to be like completely loyal because
no.
now girls are just going out and approaching. You get what I'm trying to say?
I do. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And trust me, if you're the high value, awesome bitch in that guy's life, it's fine.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's fine.
I was going to say, I don't have, I feel like I would lose a lot of respect for myself if I did that. I'm not in the right, like I wouldn't.
As in approaching men?
I think I have I have so much more self-respect for myself now.
Yeah.
And I have a lot higher self-worth.
Look, it works for certain personality types.
And that's what I mean. I personally don't want to do that, but I also support women that want to do that because if you want to do that, I feel like that's an empowering thing to be like, I want
after what you want.
I want sex and I'm going to get it, right? And if that's the phase of your life that you're in and you don't want a commitment to somebody and you genuinely just want to go out and have sex, like I support that all the way.
Of course.
But if you're doing it to try and meet a person, I
not the
don't
best
think that's
idea.
the best way to approach it.
No.
But it's a different dynamic too because those girls tend to date quieter guys too. So you're not necessarily going to walk up to King Dick and it's going to be like the quieter, more reserved sort of guys.
Yeah.
And because that dynamic works in that situation.
Again, it all depends on the phase of life you're in.
Yeah.
Because like I've been in a phase of life where I'm like, fucking like I'll have 5 boys on the go, no worries.
Yep.
Then I'll be like, oh, I actually want to be committed to one person. Then I'll be like, where I'm at right now, I don't want anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
So it all
that's all
depends.
fine. It's all part of the journey to get you to where you want to be.
Yeah.
And mate, like honestly, I have mates that are poly and all that sort of stuff. It's not for me, but some people end up there. Do you know what I mean? Like there's no one true way out of this experience now, like being young and like learning how to date and all that sort of stuff. I think it's gonna land where it lands. Don't be too hard on yourself, and just make sure that you're looking after yourself through the entire process.
Yeah, as long as you're happy and it benefits both parties involved. I think that's the most important.
Look, I mean, be respectful, but be okay to be selfish with dating too.
You have to be.
This is why
you have to be.
I want to bring it back to the whole like choosing to not date as well. I reckon we bring it back to that because both of us are going through this phase right now where we're choosing not to date and we're choosing not to put ourselves out there, either A, because we don't have the mental energy for it, or like B, me, I've just had in the last 6 months, I've just had some shit experiences that I'm just now like, at this point in time, it's
not your priority.
It's just not a priority for me.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact that like I'm not off dating though. Like I'm not against love at all. And I know that I will find somebody, but it's just not now. And I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay with making my life all about, comp prep right now and then focusing on my business and just doing me. And I know for a fact that me doing a lot of personal development and work on myself now, like especially like after having conversations with Rani and doing mindset workshops and actually like being present with yourself and learning about yourself, and like you mentioned before, working out what your insecurities are or certain patterns in your own behavior that you do in relationships and stuff. It's so important to like understand that stuff about yourself and the qualities that you might think you didn't have but you do, and what makes you a good partner versus some things that you could work on. I think all of that, you need that time to not date to work that out.
But I think you need to date people as well to find out what those insecurities are.
Yes.
So you need to like you need people to trigger things in you to be like, oh, like where's that feeling coming from? Like what's that causing in me?
Yeah.
And then once you've dated a few people, you can be like, okay, this is the things that I'm triggered. This is what triggers me. This is what I want. This is what I need to work on.
This is true because obviously those dating experience that I had recently triggered me massively. And those triggers allowed me to go off on my own, journal about it and work out, this makes me upset, or this is something that I need to work on, or to be honest, it actually made me realize I'm not ready to date at the moment.
Yeah. And that way you can like, it's easier to sift through people. Who's right for you, who's not right for you.
And that's another thing I think Peter, you and I have spoken about this a lot, where I know now that I need someone who's on my level intellectually.
Yeah.
Like EQ that you speak about all the time, and IQ as well. Yeah. Like I need somebody that brings more to the table than their fucking body and their looks. Like
100%.
And that's part of that transition.
Yeah.
You're hitting that point now as you get older and stuff, and you're like, all the people.
I get real cringe. Do you do that?
What?
Like some guys that you see and you're like, fuck, you look hot as.
Yeah.
And they open their mouth.
And then they speak and you're like, ugh.
Yeah. It's funny because it's like as soon as they speak, you can already tell the type of person they are.
Yeah.
Or even just with the way some people carry themselves, you're like, I already don't like the energy you're giving off. Doesn't matter how attractive you are.
That is a big tell.
Yeah. Like so you can read people's energy or body language and be like, I don't like the energy you're giving off. I already know you're not for me. But I can appreciate the way you look.
Yeah. Or it's like you're really arrogant or you're really cocky or this and that. Like there's a difference between arrogance and confidence.
Yeah.
And I like someone that knows like that they're sure of themselves, but not in an arrogant way.
Yeah.
You know?
You can almost be stupid and sure of yourself, which is like super off-putting, and the majority of overly confident people are too stupid to realize that like they're doing it.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that especially in the scene that you guys are in and stuff. It's a bit of an archetype, but it's legitimately like most of the dudes that you'll be seeing in
100%.
Yeah.
You can tell too when you're talking to someone and they're sure of themselves or they're comfortable with the type of person they are. What I've noticed is they're a lot more like calm. They're a lot more like just easier to talk to. Whereas I feel people that are just they're scattered.
Yeah.
People that aren't sure of themselves or trying to be someone else, they're like scattered and the energy is different.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Because they're trying to catch like a million fucking plates all at once.
Yeah.
And just keep it all spinning.
Yep.
And you're like, mate, just. But again, it's the age thing. That comes
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
Because every guy wants to be everything for every girl because
Yeah.
you want to be the man.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be the man, right? And that's the hardest part. But like we're all kind of wanting to be the top dog in some aspect of our life.
Yeah.
As a guy, usually.
Yeah.
It gives you purpose, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of guys, especially if they work on their looks, the top dog, if it's not training, it's dating girls because outside of their gym group of friends, they're probably the only mate that's jacked, right? So it's like you got to be the man with the chicks at the bar, girls talking to you, hanging off you, sort of thing, and it just breeds this thing. Then when you hit your late 20s, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
this is a little bit
Things
fucked up.
change.
Yeah.
Dynamics change heaps. I definitely agree with that.
Refuse to be a situation that's going to put me at risk because he wasn't being forceful at all, but he was being like,
Leaning towards not wearing one.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I find that a lot of guys are more so worried about not impregnating women rather than
Correct.
catching something. Whereas
Exactly.
women are
It's
more
it's two different things, right? You guys are way
Yeah.
more susceptible to STDs than we are.
absolutely.
So
You
it's
could have
not a
something you
real-
wouldn't
yeah.
even know.
The only thing that really scares a dude is like AIDS.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
everything else is
And
kind
you
of
can
treatable.
still, like a straight guy can still get AIDS from a woman.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
That's yeah, no, like
No, but
definitely.
people-
You know
But
what I
it's-
mean? Like,
but
guys
I
are-
guess the scary part is now all that shit's treatable now too, and that's common knowledge as well.
but at the end of the day,
So,
you don't want to
yeah.
be having sex with someone and being like, oh, by the way, I've got HIV.
Well, you have to legally, you have to.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But you don't want to have that.
No,
Have to
that
have
would
that
be-
awkward
that would be
conversation.
terrible,
And
yeah.
God, I feel sorry for the people that do. But
Yeah.
everything is treatable.
Mm.
But it's just
Not everything.
But it's just an awkward conversation that you don't particularly want to be having. You
Yeah.
know, especially
No,
on a night
100%.
with one night stand.
Yes.
The-
I mean, do you encounter many one night stands where they're not wanting to wear condoms?
I'm going to be completely honest. I do not have one night stands anymore.
Yeah, but in
But
the
I was
past.
going to say either do I.
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. But the thing is, I will definitely assure you that it is me having the conversation with a guy to wear one.
100%.
If you're in the middle of the moment, he about to go into V,
Yeah.
I'm stopping and going, are you going to wear something?
For sure.
Yeah.
There is no like him just using his initiative
Yeah,
to
yeah,
fucking grab a condom out.
I'm sorry, but in that situation, no guy's using initiative for that. No guy's
Yeah.
going to be like, oh,
Yeah, so
let
do you
me
want the
just.
inside baseball for why
Yes.
most guys don't do that, right?
There
So-
is, yeah. Oh, you go. No, you
Okay. So it's not justifying it at all, but it is, I guess, having been through that phase as a younger dude. A lot of dudes can't fuck with condoms, right? You put a condom on, it feels weird. Some guys are allergic to certain latexes, which can not like a hard like it goes red,
Yeah.
but literally they desensitize and things get weird, and they just can't fuck on them, right?
Does it get extra
So they're
sensitive?
all- there's numbing agents on a lot of them.
Yeah, right.
And they
to
literally
help you-
don't feel it.
Ironically, to help you last longer, but then you literally can't feel anything and it's fucked. But that's why the thing that I would stress to dudes is find the condoms that work for you, because this is a thing that they don't talk about either. Is some condoms are fucking horrible for me, and then some are fucking amazing. But then for my mates, actually, this is a fucking weird story. So my mate who lost his virginity a bit later had that issue with the condoms, right? Couldn't get hard or got hard, then put the condom on and it went weird. I said, mate, try these ones. These ones work for me. And it's like people don't have those conversations. He's like, mate, it's fantastic. Bang, done, all sorted. But
What
a lot
ones
of guys,
are they for FYI?
I think they were the Trojan. Like it was one of the super thin ones. This was just fucking years ago. So I don't even know
Okay.
if they still have those
Of
ones.
course, the super
you
thin
wouldn't
one,
fucking use one now, would ya?
No,
no, I don't need to wear one
super
anymore.
thin ones that are more likely to break.
Yes. Well, I mean, look, if it's fitted correctly,
Mm.
it's latex. So it'll only snap if it's not fitted properly.
Right.
This is what baffles me, right?
Because I can show you the thinnest condom in the world and fill it with water and it'll fill the fucking sink.
yeah, right.
So if the condom's not on properly, you can
Yeah.
fuck like a maniac and it's not going to break if it's fitted correctly.
Okay.
This is,
Yeah.
again, what baffles me. I actually am a qualified sexual health teacher,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, we educate and teach
Yeah, but
our
you don't tell
students
people the
this.
basics, right? Like, not all condoms are created equal.
But this is the thing. I actually
Yeah.
do. There's
Oh,
a lot of teachers out there that are teaching sex ed that have
Yeah.
no idea
Yeah.
about this generation.
Yeah.
And this generation is one that, I'm sorry, but you're not using condoms.
Yeah.
It's
No.
not like it used to be. Okay, like 1, 2, 3 generations ago, it was normal to be like, yeah, safe sex, wear a condom.
Because they had AIDS.
In this day, right?
That's why.
In this day and age, though,
Yeah.
there is a much greater percentage of people that are having sex not protected.
Yeah.
I don't think I can't give you a statistic, but there is a fucking lot of people out there with chlamydia and
I think it's
stuff.
around 60 to 65% of
Like
people.
there
have
is a
something.
great number. You cannot fucking trust the person that
Anyone.
you're
Yeah.
sleeping with. I'm sorry, but like unless you physically were to show me your fucking STI report,
Which during COVID people were doing.
but again,
Okay.
right? I'm sorry. I
Really?
I guarantee you any guy that like I'm probably sleeping with,
Yeah.
they've slept with 3 girls since their last one.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
like
yeah.
you just
Yeah, for sure.
you're an idiot if you're not wearing
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I'm
even,
sorry.
Even sometimes being in relationships, you can't trust, you know? Like I genuinely thought, how are we going for time?
We're over an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
We killed it. Yeah.
Even like this guy that I was with, I honestly thought I was the only one that he was seeing.
Yeah.
And turns out, no.
You want to? No.
So sometimes you can't
Yeah.
even trust the person that you're with.
Look,
yeah.
I'll give you without, that was kind of a shitty situation.
Also, just on that,
Yes.
I was a lot younger, so I probably couldn't pick up on a lot of red flags.
Yeah. Was that
No,
when you
there's-
found the phone?
No.
No.
that was
Okay.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But look, no, but it
Please.
it is one of those situations I think where you're just learning, and then
Yeah.
just keep mind of the traits in those guys that you find attractive, and there's a correlation between that and kind of.
Yes. Yes.
But back to dingers, and so dudes, yeah,
Dingers.
a lot of guys, obviously, everyone wants to fucking be amazing and be a king, and all this sort of stuff. It's easier, obviously, without one, right? So a guy's willing to risk that for the performance because they're also assuming
So
that
it's selfish for selfish reasons.
it's yes, because I guess if you perform badly, 99% of women will fucking destroy you to their mates.
You're getting roasted on the group chat.
Yeah, there will be the awkward sort of conversation about it. I think from all the time I've been doing my podcast and stuff, I've heard maybe 3 guys that have had positive experiences with girls that have had them come over again afterwards after they've had issues with sex. So the common conception is you need to perform straight out of the gates every time, knock it out of the park, or you're not a man.
I'm not gonna lie. If I have sex with someone and it's shit,
Yeah.
it's a big
Yeah.
deterrent.
To be
Right.
fair, the
So
last
that sort of pressure, and I'm not saying it's okay or any of this sort of stuff. I'm just saying, now that you know that, now I understand why heaps of guys are like, fuck condoms, that shit's retarded. I'm already fucking, in my own head about shit as we go. She's way too hot for me. Like, I don't know how the fuck this is
could be
happening.
the first and last.
I think,
yeah.
but again, on that,
Yeah.
the difference between I think the male and the female mentality is
Yeah.
girls do think more about consequences as opposed to males.
Yes. Yeah.
Males think temporarily in the moment rather than the after fact.
Yeah.
And do you know what else kind of like is really interesting? If a guy found out, I actually listened to a podcast on this. If I was to sleep with a guy,
Yeah.
and let's just say I have chlamydia, right? It's in my due diligence to tell them that I've got chlamydia before they sleep with me without a condom, right? I'm fucking telling you now, if I said to a guy, trust me, you want to wear a condom because I've got chlamydia, they would fucking run. They would fucking run.
But also
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
like if you've got chlamydia, you don't really you feel dirty. You don't want to be having sex with guys. You know what I mean? You don't want to be sleeping
Yeah.
around.
100%. But I'm just saying hypothetically though, like it's very easy for a guy to call a bitch dirty if she's got an STI or call her gross, but he's the one fucking sleeping around giving her the STI because he doesn't want to wear one in the first place.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like
I do get what you're saying. Yeah. And it's look, that is shit. And yes. It might be that easy sometimes to just see the reaction of a dude like that. And I wouldn't say fuck with people that like don't want to use condoms and stuff. But I'm also saying that like if this is my daughter or one of my really close girlfriends, like you guys and stuff, I'd be saying that's not a bad idea to see if the guy's a fuck with. You'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Are you sure you want to? Because I have chlamydia.
like fuck around with him and say you've
but
got
like,
chlamydia.
do you know what I
see
mean?
how they would react.
Because the alternative is, they're just going to leave anyway. So you may as well at least fucking, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's for like a one night stand type thing.
Yeah, and look, I think it is a thing that it is the bane of sex for men. Condoms are fucking stupid, and any guy that says they're fine with it, believe them, but it's the reality of the situation. So I think it's about maybe working with dudes who feel more comfortable using them.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because the only reason, like the thing is, it doesn't feel as good is like a dog whistle. So dog whistles when you like say something without saying something. 2, I don't think I'll be able to fuck with a condom. It's not that it doesn't feel as like, because if
So what you're telling me is
honestly-
you're a shit rude.
let's see, because and this is the fear, and that's why they don't want to wear. Do you understand? Like
Yeah,
that sort of
yeah.
that
It's-
stuff is why they don't want to wear condoms.
I have had these,
Right?
but I've had these conversations with guys, and I
Yeah.
know at the end of the day, like, but even for the girl, we don't want to wear one either.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, we know that it feels better without it.
Yes.
We're just protecting ourselves. Like we're just
No, of course.
Because
protecting
we have like more consequences for like we come out with
infertility and things like that.
like if
yeah.
we have a number of STDs, we get more fucked up from it.
Yes.
Mm.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? It's
No,
like,
for sure.
and sometimes guys can sleep with girls that have STDs and still not get anything, but
Yeah.
the women will
Yeah,
still
yeah, yeah.
sit
They're
there.
the carriers for it. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I
I'm
think it's
fired
just,
up.
it's more so. what I want the
Fucking men.
what I want the listeners to understand, I guess, is I'm not making excuses for it. I'm just explaining why.
Yeah, that's
Right? Why?
valid.
Yeah,
That,
yeah.
That guys would be so scared.
Why
to-
most men think that
yeah.
way.
Why
And then,
they
like, a lot of
refrain?
guys would be like, "Oh no, I just don't fucking have one anyway. Fuck, there's not a big deal, is it?" Like, well, it's like, well, if it's not a big deal, then just have it with you. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
It was interesting though. When you're younger, you've always got them with you because you always want to fuck, and you're like, "This will help me have sex if I buy them."
Yeah.
So you just buy them and always have them. As you get older, you do lean away from it because you're like, what if this is about like, because sometimes you're in a rush or whatever, and you just grab whatever. You
But
can
also
get for
when
7-Eleven.
you're older, you've had that many sexual experiences without.
Yeah.
You know that it's gonna be better without. So,
Yeah, of course.
But what I would say, like, yes, it's going to be better without, but I mean, you're still like, it's still pizza at the end of the day. That's a saying that I've got, so I'll explain it to everyone. Like, yeah, you can have shit pizza, but you're still eating pizza. Like, it's
Yeah.
pizza, man. Like, it's
Pizza
fine.
pussy.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if it's great anyway, then
Yeah.
you guys will keep sleeping together, and you'll get to the point where you're not wearing a condom anyway.
as
Yeah.
fucked up as
You'll
this
get there.
sounds,
Yeah.
is there a way that a guy can literally just wake with a condom to get better at wearing a condom?
Correct. And that
Do you
is
know what
how
I
you
mean?
know.
You can
No,
what?
but that is, yes. And that is how you know what condoms are good for you and what condoms aren't
Yeah.
good for you if you don't have someone where you can wear dingers with all the time.
Wait, you said
Like, can't he
Have a
just
pool with a condom
like have a
to see which ones desensitize you and which ones don't.
like to get
Oh, yeah.
like so that they can get better at like
Find the
having
ones,
sex
yeah.
with a condom.
But
Yes.
but a guy's going to actually actively do that? Probably not.
So
We
that-
could be
well,
the
that's
starter of
honestly-
a
that's-
conversation.
No, but that's how you find out if you don't have someone that you can try a bunch of condoms with. There's no other way. Guys won't admit it, but that's the only way you'd ever find out, right?
Mm,
Then how the fuck else would you find out?
yeah.
So, but there's actually
be
there's a
cleaner.
joke. There's a bit of a joke too, because like there was it was I Love You Man, that movie. He's like, yeah, I jerk off with condoms all the time. He's like, there's no mess. It's easy. I just throw the condom out and you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Actually,
that movie
logically
started
makes-
that in our friendship circle, and we're like, oh, fucking never thought of that before.
Yeah.
And then that's like, and then you make the connections like, okay, that one's weird. That one was better. Because there are some that are fucking awesome too.
Yeah.
Like, so you can get that sort of. You've just got to learn, and people need to stop fucking being
Practice.
scared to
Yeah.
do shit.
Yeah.
That, especially where no one's getting kink shamed anymore. Really,
yeah.
I don't know. What's someone gonna say? Well, you had to wank into a condom. Yep.
Yeah.
Because people freak out when I don't wear condoms. I'm trying to find the right one. Like, no one's gonna say, "Oh, you fucking idiot!" Like,
Mm.
they'll be
Yeah.
like, homeboy maybe got a little bit too involved in figuring that out. But like, so what, man?
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
want to do? And it makes you guys feel more comfortable,
Yeah.
and you're not the dude that doesn't want to wear condoms.
Yeah. I think I just
Yeah.
wanted to bring it to light because it's definitely not spoken about. And
No.
because I have these conversations with my girlfriends and Matt all the time. And
Yeah.
like Matt's really big on us, like girls, like protecting our sexual health.
Yeah.
And for him, like he does this other thing that he takes tablets to prevent like HIV and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've been saying that.
It's called PrEP, and they
Yeah.
take something to like prevent them from getting it. Anyway,
A lot of gay men are on it.
yeah, yeah. And he's like, what are you doing to protect your own sexual health? And it's like, well, we should be wearing condoms. But then like I've had many conversations with him about how I genuinely, if I am sleeping with someone for the first time, any new encounter, like it's me having the conversation with them.
Yeah.
And the reason I wanted to bring it to light is because there's a lot of women out there who don't have that confidence to have that conversation with the guy in the moment. Like, for example, if you are in the moment and you're someone who lacks confidence, as it is, being in a sexual encounter with someone new for the first time, for some people, that's like quite nerve-wracking. So to be in that environment and not have a voice to speak up, to, you know, ask for what you want, to protect yourself. Like, I just think that
I think you're 100% on the money.
I think we as women need to have a stronger voice with protecting ourselves in these situations, because you're the one that's going to feel like shit when you catch an STI, and you're the one that has to live with it. Like, you're the one that has to deal with it, not them.
And if you if you're going to put yourself into a situation like that, you need to have the confidence to have that conversation,
or just have the confidence to have that voice to just stamp what you want.
Like, don't open yourself up to be in a position where you can catch something, or
it's
because
a healthy
you're
way
too
to approach it,
scared.
the way you guys are talking about it. Because I've had guests on that have said it's his fucking problem. If he's not going to fucking do it, then I'm not going to sleep with him. It's like,
it's
but
50-50.
then do you really get there in the end? Like, if it's, you know, you're on some sort of massive feminist quest and he's a pig and whatever, like, just call him a pig and go home. Or you can have a chat with him, and at least if you guys don't fuck, the next girl that he sleeps with, he'll be a little bit more, well, at least I should have a fucking condom.
I should probably
with me
have
this
one.
time.
And that's the thing. It's just opening that conversation up. Like, because I'm someone who's very confident with my opinions and what I say to people, right?
No.
As we know.
Absolutely not.
But like, I'll literally be like, cool, you don't want to wear a condom, don't fuck me. Like, simple.
100%.
It takes balls. It takes balls. Like, it's very uncomfortable to say that. But like, even you could kind of make the conversation hot at the, like, when things are obviously going back to the, as you're getting there, like, you don't wait until the 11th hour.
No,
like, so do you have any condoms? Like, that's hot. Like, if a dude says, he's like, yes, I'm in 100%, I'm not worried about this now, then like, you're naturally going to be like, yes or no. Because it's brought up in a nice way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
definitely.
And
you
look,
definitely
it
need to
shouldn't have to be on you guys, but like you said, if they don't have it, then it's kind of on you. And then you have to either have an awkward conversation to get them to leave or something. Like, it's going down an awkward route regardless, right?
Yeah.
So better have a conversation where it ends in everyone coming and then you sweet. You know what I mean?
Or just make it a bit more lighthearted. Like, it doesn't have to be like a full like
100%.
have you got condom? Like, you
No.
can just make it funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't
definitely.
have to be a full serious. I mean,
How
it is
would
a serious conversation, but like,
how would you approach it in a funny way?
Yeah, it's a serious topic, but the conversation doesn't need to be serious.
yeah,
Correct.
See,
correct.
I'm someone that's quite direct. So like, if I'm in that situation, I'm straight. Like, have you got condoms? Because if you
Yeah.
don't, it's not
But how
happening.
many of your friends do you know wouldn't be able to do that? Like,
yeah, there'd be a few.
Yeah.
I think
there's a majority of
but-
girls that would just go along with it.
yeah,
It's fucking full on.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, I mean, look, I've been in a situation when I first started sleeping with people where I have been like that. I mean, I have been too afraid to like
Say what you want.
say something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And but I was a lot younger then.
Yeah.
And I think just being in a situation where I have caught something, it scared the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
For me enough to be like, I will never be in that position again.
Exactly.
And nor should any woman, because I don't want to put my own health at risk.
I think another issue is with the younger generations is like, think about it, right? You do what your friends do. So if none of your friends are wearing condoms, like everyone talks about, if you're a female, you're talking about your sexual encounters to your friends.
Yeah.
And if your friends are like, oh, you wear a condom, like I never wear a condom. And then they're saying the same thing. You're like, oh, should I not be wearing a condom? No one wears condoms. I'm not going to wear a condom. And they think it's the norm not to wear a condom.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a thing that I think that the upcoming generation, I think this is why, because I obviously teach it to my students, it's like we need to still be teaching that you should be wearing them, because I genuinely feel like it's going to be phased out. Like people just aren't going to wear them anymore.
That's exactly where it's going. So having, the more conversations you have about it, lighthearted conversations you can have, the better.
Yeah, if you can normalize it and you can bring it up in fucking general conversation, it's going to save you so much bullshit later on.
Yeah.
And any guy worth his weight in gold is like going to be okay about it.
Yeah.
You'd be like,
I agree.
and look, I would like, ideally, which is never going to happen, that it would be so comfortable with guys like, just so you know, when I wear condoms, it's not the best time, but we'll see what fucking happens. That's not going to be a reality, but that's what scares most guys.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Is like, oh, fuck, okay. So that could change it too. A lot of angles on this one, but I think just have the chat and then see what's going to happen. And And yeah, don't. I wouldn't be rolling the dice unless you're absolutely certain you know the guy's dating.
That's exactly right.
And even then, you don't know it. Like you
No.
said,
Yeah.
you don't know it.
Because they're going to lie to you just to have sex.
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I
fair,
right? Am I
fair.
right?
No, I mean, look.
Some guys will lie to you just to
I
have
wouldn't
sex
say they're
with you.
lying to you to get the sex out of you, but like,
Just
they're,
hurry up and get it done.
well, because in your mind you'd be like, well, my dick's not on fire and I'm not dying, so I don't think I have anything, and I haven't. Like, and a lot of guys now are getting tested after they change partners and stuff. Like,
That's good.
When I was single through COVID, I was seeing, like, because everyone was in lockdown, the same people at the clinics getting tested, like, kind of on like the Mondays and Tuesdays, like going into Essendon Fields to get their shit done and their blood tests and stuff to make sure everything was sweet. Because, like, that's the thing is stuff does happen and you do have unprotected sex.
I guess.
Yeah.
I
You
guess
know?
another thing to mention is to just go and get a regular sexual health check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't think people get them done regularly enough.
No. Yeah. And you should do it. You should. The thing is, though, is GPs still act like cocksuckers when you go to get one.
Yeah,
Yes.
they do.
And
Yeah.
that's the biggest fucking problem. And I need a doctor that's not a fucking virgin so I
Yeah.
can talk to them and be like, look, man, either I go and spread whatever the fucking thing's coming out of Africa, or we have the fucking blood test and we say it's all good and we can move forward.
And on
You know
top
what I
of
mean?
that, I don't want to be lectured about wearing a condom or not wearing a condom. I remember I went to go get a blood test and the doctor was like, so what do you use for like sexual, like what do you use for protection?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, at this time I was only seeing one person. I was like, oh, nothing. And
Yeah.
then I copped this full lecture from this doctor
Yeah.
about why I shouldn't be doing what
Yeah.
I'm doing. And I'm like, oh, I just need a blood test, babe. I don't need a
I
lecture.
think to your listeners as well, even just for blood tests in general, because of the fitness stuff and getting your bloods done, pull rank on the doctor and say, listen, I'm coming to you for this reason,
Yes.
for this result.
Yes.
If you can't facilitate this, I will go find a doctor that can.
Yeah. Put your foot down.
Yeah.
You need to. I'm really big on this.
100%.
Really, really big
I had
on
to lie
this.
about being vegan to get full bloods done.
Yeah.
Isn't
because
that bad?
I
fuck?
regularly get my full bloods done.
Yeah.
And I will say I need this, and this checked.
Yeah.
And you also need to emphasize that you're fit and healthy because the data that comes back
Yeah.
is for people who are like unhealthy.
Oh, yeah.
And your readings are different. Like
Yeah.
we're going off on another tangent.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, that's my word. Like
Be-
you need to
be stern with your doctors to
be
get
stern
what
with
you
your
need.
doctors,
Yeah.
and like if they are questioning you, like, oh, why do you want to get an STI check done? I just do this to double check that
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah,
I just want to protect
they
myself.
They question you because they're not getting a cut from it. That's why.
Yeah.
They're not getting paid from it. So
Yeah.
you're wasting their
I
time.
just be like, new partner, need to check. You know,
I've been a dirty little whore and I need
yeah,
to check.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then like a fun one, like as a guy you can get away with, they're like, did you use a condom like the first time? And then they laugh and fucking give you the bloods. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, dude, just fucking do it. I shouldn't
Yeah.
need to do this whole fucking song and dance and like tick all these boxes. It's like just even like when you guys have to go and get like the pill and stuff, the morning after pill.
Yeah.
That's fucking horrendous.
That is such a
yeah.
fucking effort, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. And the
That's
questions
horrible.
that they
I
have
had to do that
ask you.
twice in 2 months.
My man.
But
Love
like,
it.
it fucked up my whole cycle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of
it
course.
does.
It
Yeah.
literally,
And
I
your
was like,
mood, sometimes it makes you feel sick.
fuck.
too.
I was like, I am never doing this again.
Yeah.
I
You
had
are
to.
back again.
Ironically enough, talking about condoms. Huh?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Lesson learned,
Yeah.
right? But that is a fucking procedure. You've
Yeah.
got to fill out all this paperwork just to get the morning after pill.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Not
fucking
worth it.
ridiculous, man. Like, to be fair, I don't see the purpose in it unless there's something that can happen where you die from it. I don't know. Like, I'm not an expert on that. But if that's not the reason why they do it, just fucking
Just give it
do
to
what you
him.
want to do, man. Like,
Give it to him.
is the doctor going to raise the child? No.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up, man. Give him the
Give me
stuff.
the pill. Give me the pill.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's enough.
Well, yeah, what are we
I
at?
think
What are
that's
we at?
enough
We're at
chat.
Is that 120?
127.
Yeah, I think
Oh my God, yeah, we need to wrap this up.
well, yeah, this was our first fucking random.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, I think I
Random
love the
episode.
idea of that. I think we need to do more where we just free flow
Yeah,
because
It was
it's
very
just,
good.
Yeah, I like that.
yeah. All right.
All right, well, I think we'll just wrap it up here. You know where to find us, and if you don't, evolve to thrive.
I was going to say, actually, before we do wrap up, let us know what topics you are loving and vibing with, because we do have some exciting things in the works, but we do love doing a variety of topics on fitness, life, obviously guest episodes, and also our life in terms of dating and relationships and sex. And it's not just a health and fitness podcast, and we want to kind of, you know, emphasize that we are interested in doing a variety of topics. So
anything to do with wellness, life, everything, like you just said.
Yeah.
So slide through our DMs and let us know what you'd like us to cover, talk about.
What you want to hear more of.
I'm sure we've been through just
all
about
the
everything.
Shit. All the shit. So yeah, let us know what you want to hear next. If there's something in particular or a particular guest that you want involved, let us know. Otherwise, like Georgia said, you can send us a DM through Evolve to Thrive, or you can also find me at Like a Girl Fitness for all your health and fitness stuff, or Kayla_Elizabeth May.
And Georgia J. Lee.
Bye for now.
Let's call it a day. Bye.
Good night.